Welcome back, you guys. Another one, DaniyelSon Gaming. Welcome to my channel, Meet the Gamer. Hi, I'm DaniyelSon. Nice to meet you. We're going to get into another video today, guys. Hope you're doing well out there. 10 recent gaming trends we want more of. All right, let's get right into the video. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. You guys know how it goes.
Trends, repeating patterns, sometimes good, sometimes bad. I'm not too keen on the negative stuff. We get enough of that. Let's do something positive. Hi folks, it's Falcon. Today on Game Rings, 10 recent trends in video games we want more of. Let's start out with number 10, one that sounds negative on its face, but is actually really positive. And that is delays that lead to less bugs.
Do you guys care about the subtitles? You guys want the subtitles on? Let me know in the comments.
Games. So one thing we're constantly complaining about is the deluge of games that come every year in a horribly broken state on day one. It's a serious problem that doesn't just make games unplayable on day one, sometimes week one, sometimes month one. But if it doesn't make them unplayable, it at very least makes it a worse experience. The practice of releasing broken games has eroded a lot of confidence in the gaming industry as a whole. One bad experience with a truly
What you guys think about that? Where the game comes out and it looks great. Everything looks good about it. Everyone's raving about it. It's trending, all that stuff. And then all of a sudden the game is garbage.
busted game is enough to make more casual fans step back from the hobby entirely. I mean, how often do you hear people bring up how bad modern games are by talking about how buggy they are? It is an industry-wide problem that really needs to be addressed. Thankfully, it appears that some developers are actually kind of trying to. Instead of releasing their games in a broken state, they're delaying them, sometimes multiple times, and while that is a different kind of annoying, like I said, at the end of the day, it's not great when you get endless delays. It means the games we get actually feel complete, like they finished making them before releasing them. Assassin's Creed Shadows is a recent example. It's a special case because Ubisoft had something serious to prove here. Their last few games have gotten mediocre to bad reviews, lower than expected sales, and they really needed this one to be a success. It seems like it worked, because it's the second best-selling game of 2025 so far, just under Monster Hunter Wilds, which is like, that's big success.
Have you guys played any of these games? I haven't played them. I haven't seen any gameplays either. But he said when you take your time, when a game developing company makes the game and then takes a little time critiquing it, making sure it's finalized, making sure it's solid, make sure it ain't got all the bugs in it, that's a good thing. But then we, as the gamers, have to wait for that game to come out even longer. And if a game don't come out when it says it's going to come out, sometimes you can lose interest, and that first vibe that you had is gone, but you can pick it back up.
Its general stability and lack of usual day one issues is a big breath of fresh air, and that fact had to at least partially contribute to the game's general success. Now, there definitely are things to complain about with it. I'm not going to say there aren't, and if you want to talk to Jake about it, he will tell you everything that is wrong with Assassin's Creed, not only Shadows, but as a whole. I liked Shadows. I don't think it's perfect, but I thought it was a big step up, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. But it's not just Ubisoft. Some other studios that are infamous for buggy games seem like they're trying to clean up their act recently. Say what you will about Starfield, but it is easily Bethesda's least buggy game. I know that's actually kind of just very bad on reflection for Bethesda as a whole, but Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, that's a good example. It's significantly more stable than the first game. Not totally bug-free, but in comparison, it's like night and day. It's a huge improvement overall. There are still a lot of buggy, sloppy, and generally crappy games that come out, probably more so than games that come out complete and good, but you know, it's starting to look like the tide's starting to turn, if only by a little. With how many games come out incomplete and poorly tested in the past decade, anytime something comes out that's actually fairly stable on day one, it's a big deal. And number 9, one-man developed games topping the Steam charts.
Number 9.
Sometimes it can feel like the big names completely dominate the entire industry. Your Nintendos, your PlayStations, your Microsofts, your EAs, they control all the marketing and distribution of gaming. It can feel like the little guy doesn't really have a chance. But then you see something like Schedule 1 come along and just completely explode in popularity. It's an indie game made mostly by a guy. It can't be understated just how much of a huge success Schedule 1 has been for the games.
Again, I have not played Schedule 1. I will not be playing it. Games like this I stay away from. I don't want to get involved or think about this or see any of this. So the life simulator games that are like being a police officer, being a construction worker, or being a farmer, those games are cool. But this game, Schedule 1, is not for me. I don't condone it. I don't even want you guys to play this game. because it doesn't really teach you nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, but what he's saying is, what the video's saying is that you have all these big name games come out and they just flood the industry, right? They get all the media, they get all the advertisement, all that stuff. Games like this, who someone does it by themselves, the idea of the game, having the real life aspect, it's like Breaking Bad, and he took an aspect, he made it himself, he got it out there. People are receiving it, how they're receiving it. The big companies, they could put out a buggy game, a crappy game, and the trend of the game is cool for a little bit, then it just fades out. Like we want games that are gonna last and have impact because we're gamers, right? Everyone that's watching this is a gamer. But having someone make a game by themselves and stay in the mix with the Mario, the EA, the Ubisoft, the big dogs. You know what I'm saying? This guy did his thing, but I just want him to make a different game.
Creator Tyler One. Based on the amount of people playing the game, it's estimated that the game made between $25 million and up to $110 million in its first.
So instead of playing games, should we be making games? Wait a minute here. Wait a minute here. He made 25 to 110 mil in the first month. Perfect. Perfect. Solid.
Month alone could possibly even be higher, and these are estimated guesses based on player counts and a few other analytics. For one dude, that's a massive windfall, and it's well deserved because Schedule 1 is far better than the drug dealer simulator concept that would lead you to believe it could be. It just goes to show you that the little guy has a chance to make it in the industry, and he's not the only one. Games like Stardew Valley, Manor Lords, and Balatro were also huge breakthroughs that are mostly made by a solo developer. With hundreds and thousands of indie games that come out seemingly every day on Steam, it can seem like getting noticed is nearly impossible, but these guys prove there is room for success even if you're just some hobbyist frittering away on some project in your basement. You just need an eye-catching idea and solid design skills to make it happen. Making a game solo is not easy. Making something horrible even is going to take hundreds of hours of work, and I know from first-hand experience, I've made plenty of horrible things. So I have nothing for respect but the people who are able to cobble together something at all, let alone the ones that somehow manage to make something great that gets a lot of attention. An important thing to keep in mind is that it wasn't always the case in the games industry. Sure, early on in the 80s, it was possible to get rich as a one-man dev, but for a while during the late 90s and 2000s, the indie scene was all but dead, which is extremely hard to make money as a small developer back then. But now platforms like itch.io and Steam, there's just tons of tools for success. Just putting it all together and winning the attention roulette, that's the hard part.
Right.
At number 8, Nintendo seemingly
All right.
embracing
Moving
third
on.
parties.
Moving on. Let's go. Number
this
8.
is more speculation than a 100% surefire trend, but with the Switch 2 coming soon, it's pretty worth considering. One thing
We're actually watching this video, and the Switch 2 is already out.
the original Switch was severely lacking by the end of its life cycle was third-party games, mostly because the heavy hitters just couldn't run that well on the system. They were able to perform miracles for a while with stuff like getting Doom Eternal to actually work on the system pretty well, honestly. But getting the most graphically impressive and popular games on the system in those last few years just wasn't going to be possible. So with Switch 2 coming, Nintendo is once again going all in on third-party games, bringing stuff like Cyberpunk 2077, Elden Ring, the Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hitman, whole lot more. It's all coming. It's not just old games getting re-released either. There's a whole lot of new third-party games coming too, like Project 007, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, and interestingly, Borderlands 4. Now, that's a Take-Two game, which lends us to wonder why, if perhaps any other upcoming Take-Two games might show up, like, GTA 6. I'm sure everybody at Rockstar and Take-Two want their upcoming blockbuster on as many systems as possible, so I'm sure they're at least thinking about it. At this point, we don't really know.
Whoa. GTA, any GTA on a Nintendo? It's crazy how the gaming companies and gaming developers are now letting everyone get their game on whatever system. So that means they have to make the games in different formats to fit each game's graphic capability and price point and all that stuff, the designing and all that. The game that started all this multi battling, like the Call of Duty team match and death match, and 007 started it. I used to play with a character called Odd Job. Yes, Odd Job. He was a short dude, but he was filthy. With a little hat, a little suit on. He was cool.
Oh, they haven't announced it for PC even yet. The game is still this massive question mark, and even though it's only presumably a few short months away. Whether it's on Switch or not, though, I would be surprised if we didn't get another version of GTA 5 on that system at least. And it's good to see Nintendo trying to court more third-party support for their handheld, even if the prices are going to be pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And number 7 is no more login requirements. Listen, I just want to play the damn game. I don't want to sign in every time I'm clocking into work at a factory. I've done enough of that. Happily, I don't do that anymore, but I'm sure everybody watching this is probably agreeing with me. You just want to play the damn game. The industry seems to go through cycles where every publisher wants...
Stop it. Game developers, you got to stop it. I don't need to log in to earn points or earn whatever. I'm playing on PS5. I already have a trophy system that's built into the game. I'm just trying to play the game as it is, possibly learn something, and go to the next game. Stop having everybody log into everything. I'm tired of that. Log into this, log into that. Okay.
To jam some pointless launcher you have to go through to get into their games. And then after they realize nobody wants it or cares, they give up and remove it. It comes in waves. You've seen it. You know what I'm talking about. Remember the Bethesda launcher? Yeah, they tried that for a little while, but they eventually gave in. Oddly enough, I think Wolfenstein on Switch was the last straw for that, if I remember right. Maybe it was even Doom on Switch. I don't know. Last year, the big trend was Sony jamming their annoying login requirement in every game they put out on PC. They even patched a few of the old ones to force PSN login in ones that didn't even originally have PSN anything. Everyone hated it, and thankfully they backed down. Now most of the recent games have a completely optional login. That's if you want.
We're talking about log in to your account or log into an account to play the game. It's not like log in or skip. No, it was log in to play the game. What game? I want to say Call of Duty's like that, right? Some annoying games like that.
Stats and stuff, in your PSN account. Spider-Man 2 axed the requirement right before release. Last of Us Part 2, also thankfully free of login shenanigans when it came out on PC. It seems like Sony's mostly learned its lesson and backed out the login crap. It's a lesson the industry just seems to need to learn over and over and over again. But slowly, it does seem like the pointless logins are going away, and that's a positive trend. And number 6, PC gaming is back in a big way if you're active on gaming.
PC gaming is on another level. I'm, like I said, PS5 gamer. I play all my games on PS5.
Community, already. Even ride or die console-only types have been switching over to PC. You've seen the discussions on Reddit and enthusiast forums. People building PCs, just getting into... Everybody's going PC lately. It's not just a vibe thing either. There's numbers to back.
Newzoo, PC and console gaming declined by 2% to 80.2 billion in 2024. Firm estimates PC and console gaming market to reach 92.7 billion by 2027. So that's a 12 billion increase. Global consumer spending for PC and console gaming fell by 2% to 82 billion last year, but is expected to rise to 85.2 billion in 2025. PC and console gaming. I was looking at the console gaming side. Is that declining? No, that cannot decline. The PC people they're the ones that's trying to catch up to the console. But it says right here, global consumer spending for PC and console gaming fell by 2%, just 2%. Last year. 80 billion is still a big industry. If this hits 100 billion, hey man, all you gaming channels, keep up, keep doing your thing. We in the community together. We building together, y'all. We just making games great and fun again and make them enjoyable. And also to do it for a living. I always wanted to test games, make games, things like that. But now that I get to play it and I get to share that experience with you guys, is a cool thing, man. That's so cool, man. I like my work. This is all work. At the same time, we get to enjoy something cool together. The gaming community gets better. You can see the numbers are rising in the gaming and PC community. Well, PC and console gaming. But overall, it's just cool. It's cool to see the gaming industry rise and also have space for people to make a living, to work, to put something into it and get something out. That's a good thing.
Back it up. According to Newzoo, a market intelligence firm, console and PC gaming declined by 2% in 2024, which sounds bad, but PC game spending was actually up 1.4%. In an industry where almost everything was
Oh,
down, PC gaming was one of the
went
few bright spots in
up.
terms of sales. In terms of spending habits, kind of depressing. Most of it goes to free-to-play subscriptions, and microtransactions made up 50% of all PC game sales, which sounds
Mm,
completely nuts. But at least according to
right.
these guys, that's what's happening. So PC gaming is on the rise, and there are a lot of
Oh,
good reasons for it, too. We're deep in the current console generation, so these machines aren't selling as much. PC gaming is getting easier than ever to get into. Sure, there's a lot of annoying stuff about being a PC gamer. Windows is a constant irritation with its consumer unfriendly updates that turn on crap you don't want against your will. Graphics cards are horribly overpriced. Compatibility
yes.
issues are a constant problem getting games to work.
Yes. Now, the trend for PC gaming has gone up while PC and console gaming purchasing or playing has gone down, but PC gaming revenue has went up in the time of that decline. But here's what he's saying that I really like. PC games, the computer upgrades, the graphic cards are off the graphic cards cost as much as a Honda or as a Toyota as a Ford. $3,000, $4,000 for a good one. 6,000, $4,000, right? A car for a graphics card so you can play a top of the line game with top of the line graphics and top of the line smoothness. Because you don't want that thing all laggy and everything like that. You're not playing Call of Duty on no regular computer. You got to have a solid computer that can handle that. CPU, GPU, and a lot of people are building their own. So when you build your own, you're in the 5,000, 6,000 to just have a great one. But you can get away with it like 2,500 to 3,000. You can build something that's solid that plays the games. But how about you just get a console? No, no shame, no disrespect, no hate on the PC gaming. I think it's pretty cool that you can turn your PC into a gaming tool. But the hardware updates, the software updates, the knowing things like that, he's going into some things that for a gamer like me, right? PS5 gaming, I never had to worry about the console that I bought having a problem. It's the games. Like what can I get what kind of games can I get on this console to have a good time and to experience something. But with the PC gaming, I know there's a lot of hurdles that go on there. And I just like what he's saying. Listen to what he says. Watch.
Never to get into. Sure, there's a lot of annoying stuff about being a PC gamer. Windows is a constant irritation with its consumer unfriendly updates that turn on crap you don't want against your will. Graphics cards are horribly overpriced. Compatibility issues are a constant problem getting games to work properly can be a huge chore. In general, PC requires you to perform maintenance that you would never have to owning just a console. That's kind of the benefit of the console, in fact. But the benefits do outweigh the potential annoyances, and I think that's why a lot of people are making the switch.
Okay. The benefits outweigh the annoyances. I could say the same thing about console gaming. The benefits for the console outweighs the annoyances that I would get with the console. But it's not that many with a console though. Yes, you can't upgrade the console and like customize it and work it how you want to and like maximize it because you get what you get. But there's pieces and hardware that come out for the consoles that you can attach or add to or get upgraded. But that's a little harder and that's not as simple as it sounds. Finding the right things that match and finding the right things that's not going to burn your console out. So I understand. But again, consoles for me are the way to go for gaming. Seeing PCs, seeing PCs get their shine because people been playing games on computers, but now they're playing games like actual full blown high graphic games, and that's different. That's different. But PC deserves to shine though. I've always seen people play PlayStation, computer games, PC games. It's normal. But to see that console and PC gamers are having this up and down thing, nah, man, it's the gaming is gaming. If you play it on console, good. You play it on PC, good. You all right?
With more and more formally console exclusive games coming out on PC, there's fewer reasons than ever to own a console, and basically the only system that's still got 100% guaranteed exclusives is the Switch. Xbox puts out pretty much all their games on PC, and PlayStation is even kind of starting to do that. Standards for PC ports are getting a lot better too, so the PC is no longer de facto the worst version of a game. It's often
Right.
the best, actually. There's fewer reasons anymore to exclusively game on consoles, and more reasons to use PCs, and that's what it boils down to. At number
Okay, I have to disagree with him on that because again, a PC is not like a console. Console gaming will never fade. It's the first of the it's the first ones to do it and take gaming to another level. And console gaming is one of the better ways for you to get into gaming and one of the better ways for you to attach yourself to something that you can uh expect a good experience from. There's lessons to be learned in a good game always. Always. There's always teaching moments, you know?
5 is decompiling games, an amazing trend and a godsend if you're into old games. Instead of being forced to play classic games like The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time on an old busted Nintendo 64 using an overpriced game cartridge, you can now enjoy the game on a modern PC with native resolution and tons of tweaks and improvements. It used to be, if you wanted to play some ancient console game on PC, you had to emulate it, which was often a struggle on its own. Even now, Nintendo 64 emulation is pretty spotty. Smarter people than me, however, found a much better way. Instead of just grabbing a ROM file off a cartridge and calling it a day, these people took the time and effort to completely reverse engineer the game to access the raw code, which can then be used to create a native port for the PC. With ROMs on
Wow.
emulators, you're mostly just guessing how a game's inner workings function, but when it's decompiled, what you can do with a game is completely limitless. It's not just an easy task or anything like that. Even once a game is decompiled, someone still needs to actually take all that code and turn it into a working PC game. But in the last few years, we've been getting more and more of these projects, and they're
Are you guys following what he's saying? Emulation. You guys know when you can like download the system onto your computer and then get the ROMs, play the games, things like that. I've seen that, heard about it. Now they're saying that they can just have the whole game come out for the PC. So you don't have to like download and the graphics are better and you can do upgrades. So whoever's out there making these games playable on the PC without having to go through the emulation and all that stuff, or maybe have to go through some type of platform to play it, of course. I can see all these Mario Party games, and you could play all these games with resolution that's solid. Oh man, that's pretty cool. Let me know if you guys ever played any emulators or ROMs or anything like that. And there are now handhelds that are coming out with preloaded emulator stuff and preloaded ROMs.
always exciting to see. The most impressive and out of nowhere decompile project right now has got to be Sonic Unleashed, a console exclusive game that some enterprising fans managed to decompile and create a PC port. Opens doors for an entirely new form of Xbox 360
Oh,
game preservation. With real emulation still a long way off, one way fans can share the experience of playing their favorite games from that era is to decompile the game. It's the first major Xbox 360 decompilation we are aware of, and I cannot wait to see more. In fact, if I were the people who owned this IP, I would be hiring these people and getting these games out in a manner that you could, I don't know, buy. But unfortunately, game companies seem mostly uninterested in preserving their games, so it's good to see people taking preservation in their own hands by making games like this available for everyone to play. At number 4, games made for a moderate budget that are successful. In an industry increasingly with out-of-control budgets for games, one positive trend I've started to notice is a growing market for games more or less made on a moderate budget, and they still
what did I
find
say?
success. The obvious example here is Space Marine 2. They claim was made for less than half of the cost of Doom Eternal, but managed to sell 4.5 million copies in about a month. Recently, a lot more of the little guys, in this case making mid-budget kinds of games, are beating the heavy hitters at their own game. Kingdom Come 2, Helldivers 2, even something like Elden Ring, which is something that people speculate is having cost around 200 million, but it sold 13 million copies in its first 3 weeks. 200 million sounds like a lot,
Exactly.
but compared to some of the big recent games like Call of Duty Cold War, which allegedly
Cost 700 million to make Call of Duty Cold War. Oh yeah, they looking on a return of investment of like 2 billion. If you're spending 700 million, you need at least a billion back, bro. You need your 700 million back plus 300 million and be in the green. But games are costing that much to make. Movies cost this much to make.
cost 700 million. 200 million is actually kind of chump change. Budgets on these big premium games are just getting out of control. It's not sustainable, so it's good to see some games come out that don't have to be the biggest thing ever to be considered a sales success.
Right.
And number three is making new games
That's a
using
lot of
old
pressure.
tools. There's a ton of
So-
indies that come
Excuse
out
me.
trying to replicate the style of old retro games. Some of them do it well, some don't. But one glowing trend I'm all for is getting new games using old technology. There's just something endearing about seeing a new game run on Sega Genesis hardware, or Sega Saturn for that matter. Seeing some
Yeah.
old game engine being used.
Yeah. So I've been seeing this a lot lately. A lot of people have been playing games that are like more simplified, more basic, more old school looking, or just have that old school vibe or that older version vibe. But the game is up to date. Everything's flowing, everything's working. There's attention to detail. There's cool things that you could do on the games. But to see a game go backwards, but yet it's full of technology, it's cool. That's cool.
An entirely new way. There's a lot of projects like this coming out recently. Stuff like Celico, a game made using the Doom engine, where they were somehow able to make something that's closer to a boomer shooter version of Fear, a blisteringly fast shooting gameplay thing that just, it seems like it shouldn't have been possible to do back in 1993. I mean, it
Right.
technically isn't. It's a version of the Doom engine, but it's also a version of the Doom engine. One of the crazy examples of this sort of thing, probably the craziest, is this prequel to the King's Field inspired Lunacid, which was made entirely using the Sword of Moonlight creation tools, a Japan only PC program from the year 2000, where you could make your own custom King's Field game. It's a brand new game, but in every way it looks and feels like a PlayStation 1 game. It's not trying to
Yeah.
copy the look or feel of an old game, it's an old game made in 2025. There's a lot of RPG Maker games that come out on Steam every day. Most are really terrible, but there are a few diamonds in the rough with these things. No matter how much they try to dress them up, you can always tell that they're made using RPG Maker, but some developers have managed to do more incredible things with these tools than
Oh.
others. The trend of making new games with old engines on outdated consoles, it's niche, but we're seeing more and more of it, and I'm all for it.
He was showing us the software that they use to make games or to make some of these older games in the new age. Old age coming into new age because you couldn't do this stuff back in the day. The technology wasn't there. Now you can make these games look and feel fun, but have that old edge aspect to it. The gaming industry is at 85 billion. Y'all better do what y'all gotta do, man. Enjoy these games, play these games, build something, do something. Go make some games. Go develop the games. And we here at DaniyelSon Gaming, if your game makes it to PS5 or PlayStation and they pick it up, we'll play your game. But go design it, put your talents and skills to work. All right, y'all? Do something with it. Let's go.
Moving on to number two, next gen going
Number
portable.
2.
Everybody's always copying Nintendo. First it was a Wii, everyone was scrambling to make a motion control. Now we got the Switch, and every console maker in town seems to be wanting a piece of that. Right now, there's no
Yeah.
100% confirmation that any of this is true, but with the way things are trending, it seems like we're getting Xbox and PlayStation handhelds sometime in the near future. With hardware getting more expensive, and also with people moving to PC games for the chunky games, let's call them, handhelds make an increasing amount of sense. First off, you can innovate on these things without drastically increasing the cost of the system. I mean, the Switch 2 isn't going to be the most powerful thing ever, but for all intents and purposes, it's going to be powerful enough, and it looks awesome, honestly. On top of that, the Steam Deck is a huge hit. There's a lot of other handheld PCs that are coming out in greater frequency, and I mean,
I was just talking about this. The handhelds that are coming out are basically mini PCs, right? But they can play any game. They're very powerful PCs, portable PCs. But PlayStation comes out with one, Xbox comes out with one, Nintendo Switch is already one. Nintendo's smart. Nintendo, they started off, they built their empire, and then they slowly but surely made sure to be ahead of the game. Every move they made was ahead, and then everyone caught up to them.
it's a trend that is playing out over a much longer period of time. The Nintendo Switch came out in 2017, and it has proven itself as a workable business model. That is not how the motion control trend went, and what I'm loving is that along with a workable business model, we're seeing more and more flexibility. Everybody
Right.
loved the Game Boy back in the day, and for a little while, handhelds were basically dead, though. So it's
Right.
nice to see them.
Right. The handhelds stopped around the Game Boy Advance, PSP, like right in that PSP Vita, like right in that pocket. And then the motion controllers come out for the Wii. Then they do motion controllers in the PlayStation. They do motion controllers in the Xbox. Then Nintendo says, you know what? We're gonna go from cartridges to like little cards, like smaller cartridges that you have to put in the game. But you can download games on your Switch, right? Just like PlayStation. or Xbox, obviously, you can download the digital file. So that's even crazy too, because now that you're able to download the digital file, you can walk around with a handheld and download any game you need, buy it, play it, have a good time, get experience, learn something. That's what we play games for: experience and to learn something and to have fun. That's why I'm excited for a lot of these games coming out. I'm excited for a lot of the games we have on our list to play. Make sure you check out the channel for our long form gaming videos, gameplays and stuff like that. We have some playlists. We have Tomb Raider going. We got Indigo Prophecies going, and we have Batman Telltale series going. The same people that made The Walking Dead, which I played and beat. Great game, great game, great TV show as well. But it's good to see these handhelds coming back. I got a handheld right now that it can run games well, but it can run older games well, really good. It's fun to see the older games, but the newer games, it's a little in between. But I keep hearing this Steam stuff, and I don't like how big the Steam is, but the handheld I got is about, you know, it's nice. It's a nice handheld. And it reminds me of a Game Boy. The screen's cleaner, everything's clean about it.
Coming back in maybe a slightly less creative, but at least more functional form. And finally, at number one, and this is number
Number
one
one,
for a reason, folks,
what's going on?
gameplay being the most important part of the game. It's a general trend I've noticed more in the last few years. We're seeing fewer games that are really simplistic or feel like tech demos or really streamlined and aimed at more casual gamers. Games are being aimed at a hardcore audience more. Like they're much more gameplay focused in the last few years. Think about some of the top selling stuff of the last few generations, like Skyrim, Fable 2, Final Fantasy 13, Bioshock. They're not bad games, but the design is somewhat simple. The more heavy RPG mechanics of previous Elder Scrolls are pretty much gone. I don't want to say it's like not nuanced or anything, but the general trend of the era was that games had a little bit less mechanics, a little simpler, a little easier to understand, less complicated, sand off the fiddly and confusing bits, make them streamlined and safe. In 2025, things are looking a little different. Some of the most popular games the last few years are full of complex systems. They're challenging, like relentlessly challenging sometimes, and they're
Yeah,
less focused on
that's I'm glad he said that. The gameplays, um, games like Tomb Raider, right? Tomb Raider had a level of skill that you had to have to do some of the jumps, to do some of the climbs, to find out where to go next, to beat a boss or whatever. You have to have the actual skill to do those things. That's why Tomb Raider and a lot of these Elder Scroll games and like a lot of these games that come with complexity in the gameplay, like you have to really work that controller. You have to really get on them buttons. You have to really be on it. And I've seen Tekken, Street Fighter gameplays, and you can't just go on them games today, them fighting games, and just hit square, just hit triangle. Like you got to do a combo to get your character fight, in the fight. You know what I'm saying? And that's it's not button mashing no more. Like they're actually putting some sense into it, which is cool, man. That makes the game challenging. Oh, challenging, educational, fun, good experience, great gameplay, and you have a good game, y'all. Good game. And there's so many games out there for everybody to play. Elders this Elder Ring game, bro. I'd be watching like gameplays on these people fighting bosses, and I'd be like, dude, why why is that boss so hard though? Like, and people be playing these games for hours until they beat the boss, which is a fulfilling experience because it's a challenge, you know what I'm saying? And these bosses on this game is crazy. But he's right about the gameplay up. The gameplay is up. How you play the game, how the game feels. Game developers are actually putting their effort into it. They're not taking you to the press this button, open the door. No, jump around this, jump over there. Play the game called Split Fiction. I'll just stop right there. What he's talking about is games like Split Fiction, gameplay that's just ridiculous. You're in it and you got to be in it. You got to really play.
showing off tech and more focused on gameplay expression. Compare something like Doom 3 to Doom Eternal, a game that's mostly a technical showcase versus a complex system-heavy shooter. I'm not making a value judgment here. I think both games are good in their own way, but I will say the trend of making games more hardcore focused, a little bit more complex, is a trend I mostly approve of. Like, look at some of the best-selling games of 2024. Games like Dragon's Dogma 2 and Metaphor ReFantazio. Or like even the Shadow of the Erdtree expansion, or smaller games like Balatro or Nine Souls. These are games that have really good presentation, but the gameplay is the real focus, and that's great. That's what these games are about. The sad truth behind this trend is that the advance of technology is slowing down. You can't build games that really wow people with visuals anymore, so there's little reason to sell a game purely on innovative tech, so the focus has to go elsewhere. I don't consider this a sad truth, actually. I'm kind of happy about it, but there are some who would say that. I think this is a great trend, though. It means we're getting better, deeper.
What he's basically saying is it's not all about the graphics. Make the graphics decent enough, right? Make them solid, but then let the game be fun. Let the game have things that you can find and or that are interesting and have a challenge to it. So there's certain levels on certain games that you can beat it by playing it straight. But then you can beat the same level by going off and exploring and going outside the box. And the level still gets beat. Like, let the person kind of find themselves in the game, you know? Like Rayman. Have you guys ever played Rayman? I want them to make another Rayman. I want them to make another Rayman and go all in on Rayman.
More interesting games overall. I do miss the purity of the tech demo game, the Killzone 2s and the Crises of the world. They're mostly a thing of the past. Those games were great in their own way, but I'm happy to ride the wave of mechanically dense and complex games for as long as it's going to last.
All right, we're going to stop it right there, y'all. That's it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in on another Meet the Gamer. We got to see some recent trending things that are happening in the gaming industry that we want more of. All right. We're starting to see people logging in to play the game. And if you don't log in, you can't play. Nah, we don't want that. We're starting to see that decrease. And that's a good trend. We're starting to see the gaming industry increase. And that's a good trend. So we want to see things like that, you guys. We want to see gameplays, exclusive gameplays, be able to be thoughtful and worked hard on and designed well and things like that. So this is a good video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll catch you guys in the next video, y'all. Have a good one. Stay safe. Play some games. Do your work. Do what you need to do. All that good stuff. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
Maybe I gotta